Chapter 5: Manipulation in the Digital Age. 5.1 The Internet and Anonymity, a breeding ground for manipulation. In the digital age, the way we communicate and influence each other has been radically transformed by the Internet's reach and capabilities. The ubiquitous nature of the Internet allows for instant communication across vast distances, yet it also provides a veil of anonymity that can act as a breeding ground for manipulation. Anonymity makes it harder to verify someone's identity and intentions, and as a result, it can be more challenging to determine when persuasive tactics cross the line into manipulation. Anonymity on the Internet empowers individuals to express themselves without the fear of immediate repercussion, enabling a level of freedom not typically found in face-to-face interactions. On one hand, this can be positive, allowing for open discussion and the sharing of ideas among those who may otherwise feel repressed. On the other hand, it can foster an environment where manipulative behavior thrives. Without the constraints of physical presence and the social cues it provides, manipulators find it easier to craft messages specifically designed to deceive or influence others subtly. Online manipulation often leverages the disconnect between our digital personas and our real-world identities. In this anonymous playground, individuals may present misleading information about themselves, creating false credentials or entirely fabricated personas. Manipulators utilize these deceptions to build trust or to present themselves as authoritative figures, thus rendering their targets more susceptible to persuasion. In some cases, manipulators use these constructed identities to carry out scams or to instigate divisive social or political movements. Social media platforms, discussion forums, and chat rooms are prime examples of spaces where manipulation can be particularly rampant. The algorithms that govern what content we see tend to favor more extreme, attention-grabbing material, which can be either intentionally or unwittingly manipulative. Users can be steered into echo chambers that reinforce specific worldviews or misconceptions, often through the strategic and manipulative use of information, spreading inaccurate or biased content with the aim of persuading or influencing the public opinion. Online manipulators often employ psychological tactics that take advantage of our cognitive biases. The anonymity of the Internet exacerbates this issue, as individuals do not have the same accountability for their actions as they would in a physical setting. The lack of immediate consequences emboldens manipulators to employ more aggressive or deceitful tactics than they might otherwise use. Among these are the bandwagon effect, where the popularity of a viewpoint is used as evidence of its validity, or the scarcity principle, suggesting that an opportunity or item is in limited supply to spur action. Data collection and analysis provide manipulators with tools to target individuals more effectively than ever before. The vast amounts of personal information available online allow for the creation of highly detailed profiles on individuals. With access to preferences, behaviors, and social networks, manipulators can tailor their strategies to individuals' specific vulnerabilities, engaging in personalized persuasion that can be much harder to detect and resist. The challenge of combating manipulation online is amplified by the difficulty of tracing the origins and spread of manipulative content. Information can be copied and shared across multiple platforms rapidly, outpacing the efforts to correct or remove it. This virality means that even when the original source of manipulation is identified and addressed, its impact continues to reverberate through the digital ecosystem, making the task of remediation both urgent and complex. The anonymity of the Internet not only facilitates manipulation, but also complicates the process of establishing trust. When individuals interact online, they must constantly assess the credibility of the information they receive. The critical thinking and media literacy required to navigate this landscape are skills that must be developed and honed continually. Being aware of the potential for manipulation is the first step in defending against it. The proliferation of bots and artificial intelligence on social media further complicates the landscape of digital manipulation. These automated systems can simulate human behavior and interactions, making it increasingly difficult to separate genuine discourse from artificial conversations designed to manipulate. They can amplify messages, distort the perception of consensus, and sway public opinion by giving the illusion of widespread support for a cause or opinion. Educational initiatives that focus on media literacy and critical thinking skills are essential in equipping individuals with the ability to discern between genuine persuasive efforts and manipulative tactics online. It is necessary to promote a culture of skepticism and verification, encouraging users to question the sources and intent behind the information they encounter. As we advance into an increasingly connected world, the ability to identify and resist manipulation in the digital landscape will be crucial in maintaining the integrity of our social fabric. The Internet and anonymity provide a fertile ground for manipulation. This environment challenges traditional notions of trust and credibility. To navigate this new terrain effectively, we need a collective effort to foster awareness, education, and critical evaluation of the content we consume. As digital technologies continue to evolve, so too must our strategies for discerning and countering manipulation in all its forms. 5.2 Social Media: Understanding Manipulation Algorithms. Social media platforms have fundamentally transformed the landscape of human interaction and communication. These platforms leverage powerful algorithms to shape the content that users see based on their behavior, preferences, and engagement. Understanding how these algorithms function is crucial to comprehending the myriad ways in which they can be used to manipulate people's thoughts, feelings, and actions. These algorithms are capable of mapping user preferences with startling accuracy, tapping into a wide range of psychological triggers to foster engagement, often at the expense of the user's well-being or autonomy. The role of algorithms in social media manipulation cannot be overstated. These sophisticated programs sort and filter massive amounts of content to deliver personalized experiences that are capable of commanding user attention for extended periods. To achieve this, algorithms track individual interactions with content, such as likes, comments, and shares, to construct detailed profiles that reflect the interests and biases of users. Consequently, the user's newsfeed becomes a curated stream of information, selectively reinforcing existing beliefs and influencing decision-making processes. This personalized curation can limit exposure to diverse perspectives, creating echo chambers or filter bubbles that intensify polarization and can be used deliberately to manipulate public opinion. The design of these algorithms also exploits common cognitive biases. For example, due to the confirmation bias, people tend to favor information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs. Social media algorithms feed into this tendency by prioritizing content that aligns with the user's past behavior, creating a loop that can be manipulated for targeted influence campaigns. Similarly, the fear of missing out, FOMO, is exploited by algorithms that highlight what others are doing or consuming, nudging users to stay connected and engaged for fear of being left out of social trends or conversations. This can lead to compulsive platform use, where users are manipulated into constant engagement based on an underestimated fear of social isolation. Further, algorithms are designed to maximize user engagement, with the ultimate goal of increasing the time spent on platforms. This is achieved by systematically adjusting the visibility of content to keep the user scrolling. To illustrate, sensational or emotionally charged content is often given priority, since it stimulates high engagement rates. By tapping into strong emotional responses, social media companies can manipulate users to linger longer on their platforms, thus intensifying exposure to targeted advertising and other persuasive content. It is important to acknowledge the business model that underpins these social media algorithms. The ad-based revenue model incentivizes platforms to keep users engaged for as long as possible, to increase ad exposure and, by extension, revenue. This continuous push for engagement can lead to the prioritization of manipulative content that, although potentially misleading or unethical, is likely to be interacted with more frequently. As such, the algorithms inherently possess the potential to be misused by bad actors who wish to spread misinformation or biased content to manipulate public perception and behavior. The algorithms also engage in predictive analysis, using vast datasets to anticipate the desires and reactions of users. They can forecast what kind of content is likely to hold a user's attention and even predict future behavior based on historical data. This predictive power enables platforms to preemptively provide content designed to manipulate a user's immediate interest, often without conscious recognition from the user. This preemptive aspect of algorithmic curation can anchor users more deeply within their ideologies and consumption patterns, making them more susceptible to manipulation. One of the major concerns in the context of manipulation via social media is the lack of transparency around how these algorithms work. The proprietary nature of these algorithms means that the exact processes and metrics they use to curate content and make predictions are largely hidden from the public. Without understanding the criteria for content prioritization, users are vulnerable to manipulation without their knowledge or consent. The opacity of these systems makes it difficult for users to make informed choices about their online interactions and raises questions about accountability and ethical standards. Regulatory efforts have begun to address the issue of algorithmic manipulation on social media platforms. Calls for greater transparency and the regulation of content algorithms are increasingly common. Efforts such as the enactment of data protection laws are designed to curb the unfettered utilization of personal data for manipulative purposes. However, regulations often lag behind technological advancements, and the complexity of algorithms makes them tough to oversee effectively. Continuous dialogue between regulators, technologists, civil society, and the public is necessary to strike a balance between harnessing the positive potential of social media and protecting users from manipulation. Social media manipulation can also have wider societal implications. By influencing what people see online, algorithms have the power to shape social norms, cultural values, and political climates. They can amplify certain voices or suppress others, potentially skewing public discourse and impacting democratic processes. Given the global reach of social media platforms, the effects of algorithmic manipulation can transcend national borders, affecting geopolitics and international relations. It is essential to have a critical awareness of these broader implications to fully grasp the importance of understanding and mitigating algorithmic manipulation. Education is a critical tool in combating the manipulative potential of social media algorithms. Users must be equipped with the knowledge and skills to recognize and critically evaluate the content they encounter online. This includes understanding the role of algorithms in curating their digital experiences and the ability to identify trustworthy sources of information. Digital literacy initiatives that teach individuals how to navigate social media responsibly can empower users to make informed decisions and resist manipulative tactics. Moreover, fostering a culture of skepticism towards sensationalist content can diminish the impact of manipulative algorithms. Social media algorithms have an immense influence on the way information is consumed and perceived. These algorithms are adept at manipulating user behavior and opinions, often in ways that serve the interests of the platforms and their profitability rather than the well-being of the individual user or society at large. By understanding the mechanics and motives behind these algorithms, users can begin to mitigate their manipulative effects. It is a shared responsibility among platform developers, regulators, and users to strive for a digital environment where manipulation is minimized and ethical standards guide the use of powerful algorithmic tools. 5.3. Online scams and phishing, psychological tricks. The advent of the digital age has significantly transformed how manipulation tactics are employed, and a prime example of this evolution is found in online scams and phishing. These nefarious activities leverage the anonymity and reach of the Internet to exploit individuals' psychological vulnerabilities. Scammers utilize a range of psychological tricks to manipulate users into divulging sensitive information, such as passwords, social security numbers, or bank account details. This section examines the strategies used in online scams and phishing, delving into the psychological underpinnings that make these tactics effective. First and foremost, scammers exploit the principle of urgency. They create a sense of immediate crisis that compels the target to act hastily, bypassing their usual critical thinking processes. Phishing emails often claim that an account will be closed or a service suspended unless the recipient takes swift action. This is designed to instigate a quick emotional reaction, typically fear or anxiety, which can override rational judgment. The recipient, propelled by the desire to resolve the purported issue quickly, may be more likely to click on links or provide private information without sufficient scrutiny. Another widespread trick is the use of authority. Scammers impersonate figures of authority, such as government officials, law enforcement, or representatives of reputable companies. By masquerading as entities that command respect and obedience, they manipulate individuals into complying with their requests. This often entails official-looking emails or websites replete with logos, seals, and other markers that suggest legitimacy. People tend to comply with requests from authority figures without questioning the authenticity of the communication, especially when presented with what seems like legitimate evidence of their authority. Personalization plays a crucial role in online scams. By tailoring messages with the recipient's name, position, company, or other personal details, scammers create a facade of familiarity and legitimacy. Data harvested from social media profiles or company websites makes this tactic increasingly convincing. The inclusion of personal information suggests that the message is genuine and specifically meant for the recipient. This personal touch reduces suspicion and can make the deceptive request seem more credible. Scammers also exploit the concept of reciprocity. They may offer a gift, service, or favor up front, anticipating that the recipient will feel obliged to reciprocate. This principle is a powerful force in human psychology, as people are often compelled to return favors to maintain social fairness. In the context of scams, the gift might be a small sum of money credited to an account, the promise of a future reward, or exclusive access to a service. Once individuals feel indebted, they are more likely to comply with subsequent requests for information or access. Online scams often leverage social proof to manipulate targets. By showcasing fabricated testimonials, endorsements, or the number of people purportedly using a service, scammers tap into the psychological tendency to conform to the behavior of others. If an individual believes that many people are engaging in a particular action, such as signing up for an offer or downloading software, they are more likely to perceive the action as correct or risk-free. This herd mentality can overshadow doubts and encourage compliance with the scammer's requests. Scammers create compelling narratives that appeal to emotions rather than logic. They craft stories of hardship, opportunity, or threat that resonate on an emotional level. By eliciting feelings such as empathy, excitement, or fear, they can distract individuals from questioning the legitimacy of the communication. Audiences engrossed by a compelling story may overlook inconsistencies or warning signs that would otherwise raise red flags. Another trick is to exploit commitment and consistency principles. If individuals commit to a small action, such as replying to an email or clicking on a link, they may feel a psychological pressure to remain consistent with this commitment and pursue a course of action aligned with that initial behavior. Scammers exploit this by gradually escalating their requests, starting with something seemingly benign. Once a target has taken the first step, they are more inclined to follow through with additional, riskier actions to maintain consistency in their behavior. Scammers also manipulate by creating the illusion of scarcity. They suggest that an offer is limited in time or quantity, inducing a fear of missing out, FOMO. When people believe they are about to lose out on a rare opportunity, their decision-making shifts from contemplative to impulsive. A countdown timer on a website, a claim that only a few spots are left, or an email stating that an offer expires within hours are all tactics that feed into the scarcity principle. The overloading of information is a multifaceted approach used in scams to create confusion and impair judgment. By presenting victims with an abundance of details, technical jargon, or elaborate explanations, scammers can overwhelm their cognitive processing capabilities. When faced with excessive information, individuals may find it difficult to identify the relevant facts and assess the situation accurately. This overload can lead to a default to trust the provided instructions as a way to quickly resolve the complex situation. Lastly, scammers exploit the desire for easy gains, which can be particularly persuasive. Humans are naturally inclined to seek maximum reward for minimal effort. Scammers promise substantial returns on investment, significant monetary rewards, or easy solutions to complex problems, tapping into this inherent desire. By presenting opportunities that seem too good to pass up, scammers lure their targets into making decisions driven by the prospect of gain, rather than a careful evaluation of the risks involved. Online scams and phishing are successful due to a deep understanding of human psychology. Scammers employ tactics that exploit urgency, authority, personalization, reciprocity, social proof, emotional narratives, commitment and consistency, scarcity, information overload, and the lure of easy gains. Awareness of these psychological tricks is the first step in defending against them. By recognizing these manipulative strategies, individuals can develop a more critical eye when navigating the digital world, ultimately reducing their vulnerability to such deceptive practices. It is incumbent upon users, organizations, and cybersecurity professionals to remain vigilant and informed to mitigate the risks associated with these increasingly sophisticated and psychologically manipulative online scams. 5.4 Cyberbullying and Digital Harassment. In examining the nexus of manipulation within the realms of the digital age, a critical aspect that comes to the fore is cyberbullying and digital harassment. Cyberbullying is the use of digital technologies, such as the internet and mobile phones, to bully, harass, or intimidate individuals. Digital harassment, a close ally to cyberbullying, involves persistent and often anonymous messages or actions that are designed to distress, provoke, or intimidate someone. Given the anonymity and far reach that the online world provides, cyberbullying and digital harassment have become widespread issues that affect both individuals and communities at various levels. Cyberbullying manifests in numerous forms and through myriad channels. Common methods include sending threatening or intimidating emails, spreading rumors online, posting hurtful or derogatory comments or images, and engaging in deliberate exclusion from online communities. These behaviors can inflict significant psychological damage on victims, ranging from emotional distress to serious mental health consequences. The permanence of online content also exacerbates the impact, as hurtful messages or images can be difficult to remove and may continue to affect an individual long after the initial incident. One of the hallmarks of cyberbullying is the power disparity between the perpetrator and the victim. Manipulators often bank on their perceived anonymity and the ability to create fake identities or use encryption to hide their tracks, thus avoiding accountability. This imbalance gives the bully undue power, enabling them to act aggressively without facing immediate repercussions or consequences. The anonymity of the internet not only emboldens the perpetrator, but also amplifies the victim's feeling of helplessness and isolation, as the attacker may not be a person easily identifiable in their real life. Another facet that makes cyberbullying particularly pernicious is the difficulty in escaping the harassment. Whereas traditional forms of bullying are typically confined to certain locations, like schools or workplaces, the digital nature of cyberbullying allows it to pervade every aspect of a victim's life. Victims can receive messages of harassment at any time and through a variety of platforms, from social media to email to texting. The omnipresence of digital technology means that there is virtually no respite from the attack, which can compound the distress a victim experiences. The demographic most often targeted by cyberbullying is adolescents and teenagers, who are both active on digital platforms and particularly susceptible to peer pressure and social dynamics. The impact on young people can be profound, affecting their self-esteem, academic performance, and social relationships. In severe cases, cyberbullying has been linked to instances of self-harm and suicide among youths, which underscores the gravity of its consequences. In response to the prevalence of cyberbullying and digital harassment, various legal frameworks have been developed to mitigate these issues. Many countries have enacted laws specifically targeting such behaviors, setting legal precedents for punishing cyberbullies. However, the enforcement of these laws is often complicated by jurisdictional challenges, as the Internet has no borders. The interplay between national laws and international digital platforms creates a regulatory environment that is difficult to navigate. The role of digital platforms in addressing cyberbullying is also of paramount importance. Social media companies and service providers have a responsibility to enforce community guidelines and respond to reports of harassment. These platforms are often equipped with tools that allow users to block, report, or mute offenders, but the efficacy of these tools relies on the vigilance of the users and the responsiveness of the platform moderators. It is a continual challenge to ensure that policies keep pace with the evolving tactics of cyberbullies. On the individual level, education and awareness raising are critical components in combating cyberbullying. Understanding the signs of digital harassment and the appropriate measures to take can empower individuals to protect themselves and others. Encouraging victims to speak out, seek support, and document incidents are steps toward countering the effects of cyberbullying. Victims can also leverage technical strategies, like adjusting privacy settings, to limit their exposure to potential harassers. The psychological dimension of cyberbullying reflects a broader societal issue concerning digital communication and behavior. Internet culture often valorizes depersonalized interactions and disinhibited behavior, sometimes fostering environments where harassment can thrive. To address this, there needs to be a concerted effort to promote an online culture of respect and empathy, recognizing the impact that words and actions have on others. Cyberbullying and digital harassment represent harmful forms of manipulation that can have lasting effects on people's lives. It is a multifaceted issue that requires cooperation between legal systems, digital platforms, and individuals to effectively address. As technology continues to advance, it is imperative for society to remain vigilant and responsive to the ways in which bullying and harassment evolve in the digital domain. Addressing cyberbullying is not solely an individual struggle. It requires collective action and a commitment to fostering a safer and more respectful digital world for all users. 5.5 The echo chamber effect and its consequences. In the context of contemporary society, the echo chamber effect is a phenomenon that increasingly garners attention for its role in manipulation. This effect occurs when an individual's beliefs or ideas are reinforced through repeated interactions within a closed system. The digital age, with its ubiquitous social networks and personalized content delivery systems, provides the fertile ground for echo chambers to flourish. Such environments are adept at creating circles of information and opinion that confine themselves to singular perspectives, excluding dissenting or alternative viewpoints. The mechanics of the echo chamber effect commence with the individual's selection of information sources. Customarily, people gravitate towards content that aligns with their pre-existing beliefs and values. Digital platforms use algorithms to profile user preferences and enhance user engagement by presenting confirmatory information. This process, while initially user-driven, is perpetuated and exacerbated by the platforms themselves. As a result, the user rarely encounters challenging content, which effectively isolates them from broad and diverse perspectives. The consequences of echo chambers are multifaceted and predominantly adverse. One immediate consequence is the polarization of opinion. Individuals entrenched in an echo chamber begin to adopt more extreme positions as their views are continuously reinforced without being challenged. This polarization is not a secluded personal transformation. It proliferates across social networks, creating communities that are more ideologically homogeneous and less tolerant of opposing viewpoints. Such polarization has marked implications for both societal cohesion and the constructive discourse necessary for democratic processes. The echo chamber effect also nurtures the spread of misinformation and fake news. Within an echo chamber, information that aligns with the group's shared beliefs is rarely scrutinized and therefore proliferates. The critical assessment of sources or facts becomes secondary to the congruence of the information with the group ideology. This uncritical acceptance of information exacerbates the dissemination of inaccuracies, can lead to the delegitimization of credible sources, and complicates efforts to counteract misinformation once it has spread. Moreover, the echo chamber effect has direct implications for manipulation and exploitation. Political strategists, marketers, and propagandists can weaponize these chambers by introducing tailored narratives designed to resonate with the contained values and sentiments. As users are predominantly exposed to these manipulative messages, the lack of counter-narratives stifles their ability to think critically about the content, leaving them vulnerable to manipulation. The personal psychological impact of echo chambers should not be underestimated. Continuous exposure to a singular perspective can inhibit personal growth, critical thinking, and the ability to empathize with others. It confines the individual to a static intellectual environment, where encountering and adapting to new ideas becomes a rarity. This stagnation in mental flexibility can lead to a reduction in problem-solving skills and decision-making abilities, as the individual is not accustomed to weighing a variety of viewpoints. Socially, the echo chamber effect contributes to the erosion of common ground between disparate groups. As communities become more insular, the shared reality necessary for productive societal interaction diminishes. This trend poses significant challenges for governance and community relations, as consensus becomes harder to achieve and collective action towards common goals is hindered. The fabric of society relies on a degree of shared experience and understanding, which the echo chamber effect directly undermines. From a business perspective, echo chambers can have both positive and negative impacts. While targeted advertising becomes more effective in insulated groups, creating opportunities for high conversion rates and customer loyalty, the same insulation can stifle innovation and the sort of dynamic market conversation necessary for a business to adapt to changing consumer needs or to address broader societal concerns. Businesses reliant on the echo chamber effect may find themselves ill-prepared when market conditions shift and previously reliable customer bases evolve. In the media landscape, the echo chamber effect transforms the role and responsibility of content creators and distributors. Media has the potential to break down chambers by serving as gatekeepers of diverse and verified information. However, the economic drive for clicks and attention often results in the opposite. Media outlets may contribute to or even create echo chambers to secure a dedicated audience, thereby abdicating their societal responsibility for balanced reporting and contributing to the adversities associated with the echo chamber effect. Addressing the challenges posed by echo chambers necessitates a multifaceted approach. Educating users about the impact of echo chambers, promoting media literacy, and encouraging exposure to diverse viewpoints can mitigate some effects. Additionally, algorithm designers and platform managers have a responsibility to create systems that present a variety of content rather than merely reinforcing existing beliefs. Regulatory measures and industry standards may also play a role in curbing the negative ramifications of echo chambers. As a society, taking proactive steps to understand and confront the echo chamber effect is crucial in preserving a healthy and informed civic space in the digital age. 5.6 Deepfakes, Misinformation and Reality Distortion. In the modern digital landscape, the potential for manipulation has expanded dramatically through the advent of deepfake technology and the proliferation of misinformation. Deepfakes are synthetic media wherein a person's likeness, particularly their face or voice, is superimposed onto another individual's performance using artificial intelligence and machine learning. These creations can be indistinguishable from genuine articles, thereby posing significant risks for deception. This section examines the emergence of deepfakes, the dissemination of misinformation, and the consequent distortion of reality, with the intention of understanding the ethical ramifications and equipping readers with strategies to mitigate their impact. The first paragraph introduces the concept of deepfakes, underscoring their technological basis and potential for misuse. Deepfake technology was initially developed for legitimate purposes such as entertainment, where it was employed to de-age actors or resurrect deceased icons for cameos. However, its misuse has swiftly become an area of societal concern. Malicious deepfakes can undermine public trust, damage reputations, and meddle in democratic processes. The sophistication of these deceptions can make it challenging for individuals to discern truth from fabrication, thereby impairing the ability to make informed decisions. As such, the technology has opened a Pandora's box of moral and legal questions surrounding consent, authenticity, and the dissemination of false information. Misinformation, while not a new phenomenon, has found fertile ground in the digital era, spreading rapidly across social media platforms and finding an audience among the digitally connected. Misinformation refers to false or inaccurate information that is deliberately or inadvertently spread. In an online milieu marked by high-speed connectivity and vast information flows, falsehoods can go viral before fact-checkers have the opportunity to intervene. The consequence is an environment in which unverified claims, biased reporting, and outright falsehoods can circulate widely, contributing to a divisive and misinformed public. The interplay between deepfakes and misinformation exacerbates the problem significantly. While misinformation spreads incorrect content, deepfakes provide the visual or auditory evidence that can lend credence to these falsehoods, thereby amplifying their persuasive power. Seeing or hearing a figure of authority seemingly make a statement can convince viewers of the authenticity of the information being presented, regardless of its veracity. This dynamic poses a unique challenge for individuals tasked with distinguishing between real and artificial stimuli. Moreover, the psychological phenomena of confirmation bias and the illusory truth effect work in tandem to compound the impact of deepfakes and misinformation. Confirmation bias is the tendency to favor information that confirms existing beliefs, while the illusory truth effect is the propensity for repeated exposure to false information to increase its perceived truthfulness. When individuals encounter deepfakes or misinformation that aligns with preconceived notions, they are more likely to accept and propagate such content, entrenching false narratives even further. The social implications of this reality distortion can be severe. In the realm of politics, deepfake videos could be utilized to simulate a candidate committing a gaffe or engaging in unethical behavior, potentially swaying the opinions of an electorate. In business, a fabricated clip of a CEO making inflammatory remarks could affect stock prices and tarnish a company's reputation. Personal relationships can suffer too. For instance, non-consensual deepfake pornography can cause immense harm to individuals' reputations and psychological well-being. While the potential damage of deepfakes is clear, their prevalence also poses a risk to the very basis upon which evidence and the concept of objective reality rest. If individuals cannot trust that what they see and hear is true, the foundation of societal trust can erode, contributing to a general skepticism and cynicism that undermines interpersonal and institutional trust. As such, deepfakes threaten not only the reputations of specific targets, but also the cohesion of society at large. Efforts to address the challenges posed by deepfakes and misinformation must be multifaceted. Legislation plays a critical role, with laws required to keep pace with technological advancements to protect individuals' rights and penalize malicious fabrications. The technology sector also bears responsibility, as platforms and developers must work to detect and flag deepfakes, build robust systems to prevent the spread of misinformation, and promote digital literacy among users. From an individual perspective, the imperative to cultivate critical thinking and media literacy has never been more urgent. Users must approach digital content with skepticism, and verify information through triangulation, cross-checking data across multiple reputable sources. Digital literacy education can empower users to recognize the hallmarks of synthetic media and dubious claims, thereby reducing the likelihood of being manipulated by deepfakes and misinformation. Deepfakes and misinformation represent profound challenges for the integrity of information in the digital age. They enable sophisticated means of manipulation, capable of altering perceptions and distorting reality. Society's capacity to counteract these threats lies in a proactive and collaborative approach, integrating legislative action, technological solutions, and the empowered vigilance of a digitally literate populace. Only through such concerted efforts can individuals hope to preserve the sanctity of objective truth in an era where the distinction between real and synthetic becomes ever more blurred. 5.7 The role of digital footprints in manipulation. The digital age has transformed how we interact, communicate, and share information. The vast trails of data we leave behind as we navigate the online world, known as digital footprints, have profound implications for personal privacy and have become powerful tools for those skilled in manipulation. Every click, search, purchase, and interaction contributes to a composite portrait of our habits, preferences, and behaviors. This information, when harnessed effectively, can be used to manipulate individuals and groups with alarming precision. Digital footprints are valuable to manipulators because they provide a wealth of personal information. By analyzing these data trails, manipulators can determine an individual's interests, political leanings, social circles, and even emotional state. With access to such details, it becomes possible to tailor content that resonates with the target audience, increasing the likelihood of influencing their thoughts, feelings, and actions. This bespoke approach to manipulation is far more effective than strategies that do not leverage personal data. Manipulators often use sophisticated algorithms and machine learning to process digital footprints and identify patterns within vast datasets. These patterns can reveal vulnerabilities in a target audience, such as susceptibility to conspiracy theories or a propensity for engaging with sensationalist content. Once these vulnerabilities are identified, they can be exploited through targeted campaigns designed to sway opinions, promote ideologies, or sell products. The precision of these techniques exacerbates their impact as they allow manipulators to fly under the radar, subtly influencing individuals without their conscious awareness. Social media platforms are particularly fertile grounds for the use of digital footprints in manipulation. The information users voluntarily share on these platforms can be cross-referenced with other data sources to build comprehensive profiles. Such profiles are often used by advertisers to serve highly personalized advertisements. However, this same capability can be co-opted by those looking to push a particular agenda. By creating content that mimics organic posts, manipulators can blend into the social media environment, disguising their intent and making their manipulation harder to detect. The speed at which information travels online amplifies the effects of manipulative practices based on digital footprints. An individual with a tailored message can disseminate that message to a global audience in seconds. The viral potential of digital content means that manipulative messages can spread rapidly, reaching large numbers of people before the validity of the information is questioned. This rapid dissemination is especially advantageous to manipulators seeking to create confusion, spread disinformation, or instigate social division. Digital footprints also facilitate the creation of echo chambers and filter bubbles that reinforce existing beliefs and viewpoints, making individuals more susceptible to manipulation. Customized news feeds and recommended content ensure that users are frequently exposed to ideas that align with their existing perspectives, gradually excluding dissenting views. Over time, this can lead to the entrenchment of beliefs and increased vulnerability to manipulative messages that reinforce these biases. The anonymity afforded by the digital space complicates efforts to combat manipulation. Perpetrators can hide behind fake profiles and pseudonyms to conduct manipulative campaigns, making it challenging to hold them accountable. Furthermore, the decentralized nature of the internet means that even if one platform takes action against manipulators, they can easily migrate to others. This creates a persistent problem where those intent on manipulation can repeatedly exploit digital footprints, despite efforts to stop them. Privacy concerns intertwine with the issue of manipulation through digital footprints. While the collection and analysis of such information can have legitimate purposes, the lack of transparency and informed consent regarding its use in manipulation poses ethical dilemmas. Users often do not comprehend the extent to which their information is collected, nor how it might be utilized to influence them. This information imbalance can lead to manipulative practices that users are ill-equipped to recognize or resist. The ubiquity of digital devices and the Internet of Things, IoT, has expanded the scope of digital footprints, further enabling manipulation. Smartphones, wearables, and connected home devices gather detailed data on user behavior. This expanding web of connectivity means that even offline activities can inform online manipulation strategies. For example, location data from a smartphone can be used to assess an individual's patterns of movement. Subsequently, this can be employed in location-based advertising or push notifications meant to influence behavior. Addressing the role of digital footprints in manipulation requires a multi-pronged approach. It's essential to improve the digital literacy of users so they understand the ramifications of their online activities. Increased transparency from companies about data practices, robust privacy legislation, and user control over personal data are necessary steps to empower individuals against manipulation. Furthermore, the development of technologies that prioritize ethical data use and the responsible deployment of algorithms can help mitigate the risks posed by the manipulation of digital footprints. As our reliance on digital technologies grows, developing defenses against the manipulative exploitation of personal data becomes ever more crucial. 5.8. Data mining and psychological profiling. In the digital age, the ubiquity of data has given rise to sophisticated forms of manipulation through data mining and psychological profiling. Data mining involves the process of using algorithms to discover patterns within large sets of data. These patterns can reveal information about purchasing habits, personal preferences, and even psychological characteristics of individuals. Companies and political organizations utilize this data to craft targeted strategies that can influence behavior and decision-making processes. Psychological profiling is a crucial facet of this manipulation. By collecting data from various sources such as social media activity, online searches, and purchase histories, entities can construct detailed profiles that reflect personal interests, beliefs, and personality traits. These profiles are not just snapshots in time, but evolving representations of individuals as their data continues to be collected and analyzed. This ongoing process enables highly tailored content to be presented to individuals, aimed at swaying opinions or eliciting specific actions. The manipulation becomes apparent when data mining and psychological profiling are used to exploit vulnerabilities. For example, individuals who exhibit signs of impulsive buying may be targeted with ads for products that appeal to their spontaneous nature. Similarly, someone identified as having strong political leanings might receive polarizing content aimed at reinforcing their views and encouraging propagation to like-minded peers. This personalized environment reinforces existing beliefs and behaviors, making it an effective tool for manipulation. Furthermore, the algorithms behind data mining often work unnoticed, silently shaping the digital ecosystem of users. Individuals typically are unaware of the extent to which their information is mined and used for these purposes. Consenting to lengthy terms of service agreements, usually without reading them in full, opens the door for surreptitious data collection. This lack of awareness means that users inadvertently contribute to their psychological profiles every time they engage with digital platforms. The scale at which data mining and profiling occurs also amplifies its manipulative potential. Multinational corporations and political organizations no longer need to rely on broad, generalized strategies for large populations. Instead, they can micro-target individuals or very specific segments of the population with messages crafted to resonate at a personal level. Such precision can be instrumental in driving sales, swaying voter opinions, or merely keeping individuals engaged with a platform for longer periods. It is important to recognize that manipulation through data mining and psychological profiling extends beyond commerce and politics. These tactics are also employed in realms like social networking, where the goal is to maximize user engagement. The algorithms underpinning these platforms often prioritize content that is likely to provoke emotional reactions. Consequently, content that is controversial or sensational tends to be more visible, playing on human psychology to encourage more interaction and time spent on the platform. The ethical implications of this form of manipulation are significant. Concerns around privacy, consent, and the potential for abuse are at the forefront of the debate. Psychological profiling, when misused, can lead to discrimination or exacerbate social divisions. It raises questions about the power dynamics between those who control the data and those from whom it is collected. There is a need for regulation that addresses these concerns while allowing the benefits of data analysis to continue. One approach to mitigating manipulative practices is to increase transparency around how data is collected and used. Companies and organizations could provide clearer information on the workings of their algorithms and the purposes of data collection. This transparency would afford users a better understanding of how their data contributes to their digital experiences and could potentially influence their behavior. Informed consent is a key principle that must underpin interactions between data collectors and individuals. Additionally, there is growing advocacy for data protection and privacy laws, which include requirements for companies to obtain explicit consent from individuals before collecting and using their data. The European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, is a prominent example of such legislation. It not only regulates the processing of personal data across the EU, but also impacts enterprises that deal with EU citizens' data, thereby having a global effect. While data mining and psychological profiling have considerable applications in the digital age, their potential for manipulation raises substantial ethical concerns. Awareness, education, and regulatory measures are vital in the pursuit of balancing the benefits and risks associated with these practices. Moving forward, it will be crucial for societies to continually assess the impact of these technologies and ensure that the principles of autonomy, privacy, and fairness are upheld in the digital arena. 5.9 The power of narrative and storytelling online. Narrative and storytelling are tools that have been used to captivate audiences for millennia, serving as means to convey values, traditions, and lessons. In the digital age, the power of these tools has been amplified by the reach and immediacy of online platforms. The Internet is a breeding ground for compelling narratives that can rapidly influence public opinion and behavior. This section explores how narratives and storytelling online can be harnessed for manipulation, the underlying mechanisms at play, and the implications for society. The digital landscape provides an expansive canvas for crafting narratives. With the rise of social media, bloggers, influencers, and news sites, stories can be tailored to target specific audiences. The speed at which information travels online allows carefully constructed narratives to gain traction quickly and effectively. As a result, the way a story is told online can significantly impact its reception and the effect it exerts on an audience, making it a potent tool for those who wish to manipulate. One key aspect of narrative power online is its ability to shape perception by framing events and information in a particular context. The framing effect is the process by which the presentation of information influences decision-making and judgment, often without conscious awareness. By presenting a narrative with a certain frame, online storytellers can prioritize certain details, omit others, and guide the audience to a preconceived conclusion. Such framing can be used to aggrandize or vilify individuals, movements, or concepts, depending on the desired outcome of the manipulator. Personalization of content is another strategy that considerably enhances narrative persuasiveness. Online platforms collect vast amounts of data on users' preferences, behaviors, and interactions. This data is then employed to tailor narratives and stories to resonate with the individual's biases, beliefs, and emotions. Consequently, users are more likely to engage with and be influenced by stories that feel personally relevant, increasing the manipulative power of the narrative. The emotional appeal of a narrative is a strong factor in its ability to manipulate. Online content creators can exploit cognitive biases such as the availability heuristic, where people gauge the importance and frequency of something based on how easily it comes to mind. By embedding emotional triggers within a story and ensuring that content is widely shared and discussed, a narrative can become more persuasive, compelling users towards a specific attitude or behavior. Community and social identity play critical roles in the spread and acceptance of online narratives. Humans have an inherent desire to belong, and the formation of in-groups and out-groups is a natural process. Digital platforms amplify this tendency by facilitating the creation of echo chambers where individuals find reinforcement of their views. Manipulators can leverage this dynamic to craft narratives that reinforce group identity, strengthening in-group cohesion while vilifying or excluding out-groups. Confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out and prioritize information that confirms pre-existing beliefs, is another tool that manipulators exploit in the narrative-building process. Online algorithms are designed to present users with content similar to what they have previously engaged with, creating a feedback loop that reinforces and strengthens particular narratives. This can lead to polarization and radicalization, as competing narratives become more extreme in the struggle for attention and acceptance within these communities. Interactivity is a hallmark of the online environment, and it has a profound impact on narrative engagement. Unlike traditional passive media consumption, the digital space allows users to actively participate in story creation and dissemination. This hands-on involvement fosters a deeper personal connection to the narrative, making it more persuasive. Manipulators often encourage such interactivity to intensify the narrative's penetration and to provide a semblance of authenticity and grassroots advocacy, even when it might be artificial. The illusion of consensus is another tool for manipulation. By giving the impression that a particular narrative is widely accepted, manipulators can exploit the bandwagon effect, where individuals adopt beliefs or behaviors because they perceive them as the norm. This can be artificially generated online through tactics such as astroturfing, where a false sense of grassroots support for a narrative is created through fake accounts and automated bot responses. The role of authority and trust in online narrative manipulation cannot be overstated. Narratives that are endorsed by figures perceived as authoritative or credible can gain traction far more easily than those without such backing. Manipulators often seek to associate their stories with known and trusted entities, or alternatively craft personas that exude expertise and reliability to lend credence to their narratives. Finally, the persistence and permanence of online narratives add to their manipulative power. Once a story is on the internet, it can be almost impossible to eradicate, continuing to influence perspectives and behaviors long after its initial propagation. Manipulators understand this and construct narratives with longevity in mind, embedding them in multiple platforms and formats to ensure persistence. Understanding the power of narrative and storytelling online is critical for recognizing and countering manipulation in the digital age. While narratives can serve positive purposes, such as education and empowerment, they can equally be weaponized to manipulate public opinion and behavior. By being aware of the tactics used to weave compelling online stories, individuals and society can develop strategies to maintain autonomy over their beliefs and decisions in the face of digital manipulation. 5.10 Strategies for Maintaining Digital Hygiene and Security. With the advent of the digital age, manipulation tactics have seamlessly transitioned into the cyber realm, and as a result, maintaining digital hygiene and security has become crucial. The information overload, omnipresence of social media, and the sophistication of online manipulation methods require users to adopt a proactive approach to safeguard their digital presence. Critical to this approach is an understanding of the broader implications of one's digital footprint and the possible avenues through which manipulators can exploit personal information. It is fundamental to recognize the implications of data sharing online. Every interaction on the internet leaves traces that can be compiled to build a detailed profile of an individual's preferences, habits, and behaviors. It is this profile that manipulators seek out to target their tactics. Therefore, individuals must be judicious about the amount and nature of data they share online. Regularly reviewing privacy settings on social media platforms and websites to restrict the sharing of personal information with unknown parties is a crucial step. Creating strong, unique passwords for each online account is a basic yet powerful means of protection. Simple or repeated passwords across multiple accounts increase vulnerability to hacking and identity theft. Utilizing a trusted password manager can help manage the complexity of maintaining numerous, robust passwords. Additionally, enabling two-factor authentication wherever it is available adds an extra layer of security by requiring a second form of identification beyond just a password. Being aware of phishing attempts is essential. Phishing is a manipulation tactic whereby attackers masquerade as legitimate entities to trick individuals into providing sensitive data. Vigilance towards unexpected emails or messages that request personal information or prompt one to click on unknown links can prevent compromise. Users should verify the authenticity of requests through direct contact with the purported organization using a separate communication channel. Regularly updating software is a preventive strategy against digital manipulation. Outdated software may contain vulnerabilities that manipulators exploit to gain unauthorized access to systems. Ensuring that all devices, applications, and operating systems are up to date with the latest security patches can diminish the risk of exploitation. The cultivation of digital literacy is paramount in identifying and resisting manipulation attempts. Educating oneself about the tactics used by manipulators, such as deepfakes, disinformation campaigns, and social engineering, empowers users to recognize and resist such attempts. Moreover, the use of critical thinking skills when interpreting information online helps distinguish between legitimate and manipulative content. It is advisable to perform regular audits of online accounts to catch any unusual activities that may indicate potential manipulation or breach. This includes monitoring for unauthorized posts, messages not sent by the user, or suspicious account logins from unknown locations. If such activity is detected, users should take immediate action to secure their accounts, including changing passwords and reviewing security settings. It is beneficial to reduce one's digital footprint by limiting the number of accounts and services that hold personal information. This not only minimizes the data available to potential manipulators, but also simplifies the user's digital maintenance requirements. Inactive accounts should be properly deactivated or deleted to prevent them from becoming an access point for malicious actors. Understanding and utilizing end-to-end encryption in communication helps protect the content from being intercepted and manipulated. Applications and services that provide end-to-end encryption ensure that only the sender and receiver can access the communicated information. This reduces the chance of confidential information being compromised and used for manipulation. Fostering a network of trust with acquaintances in the digital space can act as a support system against manipulation. Friends and family can help verify the legitimacy of suspicious interactions and can also become reliable sources of information when one is uncertain. Engaging in communities that value security and privacy can enhance collective resilience against manipulation efforts. When engaging in financial transactions online, it is vital to use secure and reputable payment platforms. Manipulators frequently attempt to exploit financial dealings to siphon funds or gather financial information. By using payment services with robust security features and a track record of protecting user data, one can ensure that their financial dealings are resistant to manipulation. Maintaining digital hygiene and security in an era fraught with manipulation requires constant vigilance and proactive measures. It involves careful management of personal data, practicing good password hygiene, staying alert to social engineering tactics, and keeping software current. Building digital literacy, regularly auditing personal accounts, minimizing one's digital footprint, employing encryption, leveraging trusted networks, and using secure payment methods are all strategies that collectively fortify one's defense against manipulation in the digital age. It is indeed a comprehensive, ongoing endeavor that demands attention and adaptation to emerging threats, yet it is an essential aspect of navigating the digital world securely.